Okay. This is my fifth or sixth time trying to do this video today. I usually am just kind of press play and fire away and then just put it on online and then go from that. And I know that I'm going to be probably changing a lot of things about, my videos that I'm going to make in the future. And I know that I'm probably going to continue making videos because I'm stepping into a creator form of energy. And I feel like it's a reflection of everyone is stepping into a creator form of energy, in the sense of everyone's been doing that for a long time, but we are now surrounded by technology that's allowed to duplicate it and replicate it. And this video is a perfect example. We now have access to making copies of a personal experience and then put it away in a data bank and then, experience, kind of like a time capsule in a sense, in such a direct way now. It's not the form of, just writing a message in a bottle and, maybe sending it across the sea, or however, maybe you bury it and then someone finds it in the future. This is more, I'm not writing something on paper, I'm, compressing light into, 2D aspect, and maybe it will become 3D if we start doing holograms, or however this technology is going to evolve. It's a lot more profound, and it's because we're duplicating reality. We're creating our own timelines, but we also live in a reality where it's a mixture of we're creating but then also experiencing other timelines that are not our own creation, right? But if you believe in a Christ consciousness aspect of it, we are all creating it together because we're part of a whole. So it's a reflection of, we view it as outside of us, when in actuality, when we might perceive it when we're whole again, it's not separate. And you might not believe in that, and that's totally fine, because you're a creator of your own reality. So you are creating, a different timeline compared to mine, where you live in a reality where it doesn't exist, and it doesn't. But I also live in a timeline, a reality that it does, because that's what I believe. And I'm creating this in the assumption or understanding that it's only for planet Earth, even though I also believe that it's most likely not, right? And I always explain certain spiritual topics, religious topics, an aspect of an understanding of source, as you might call it, or God, in a faith-based thinking, because it is faith, it's hope in a sense, it's belief, and we are all creatures of belief, creatures of thought. We create our own reality around us in the forms of that, but we also are coexisting with co-creators, so then we're also at the same time experiencing other people's reality that's just a reflection of our own, which sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo to someone who doesn't believe in this, right? And that's what I find so fascinating and hilarious. So, I grew up, 26, and kind of lived more of a sheltered experience growing up, where a lot of my, it's like a lot of going through cycles of isolation and then around a lot of people, because I live in a state where the winter is pretty harsh in Minnesota, and you're spending a lot of time isolated inside trying to stay warm. Not that like you're not interacting with people, but a lot of my interaction with people, and being 26 in an age of we have technology, I'm connecting with people not in person but through a screen like I'm doing right now. But this is a bit different. I'm creating this in the understanding of I'm trying to put it out there as a creation of my own that I want to be timeless in a sense. I haven't really had that intention using technology in the past, like pretty recently. Even though I've used it most of my life, I'm just thinking of it as I'm using it for entertainment. I'm not creating with it necessarily, even though I'm still creating, but I'm more coexisting in other people's realities in a sense of like, yeah, it's still my own reality, but I'm playing a lot of video games, or I'm playing a lot of team-based things, and I try to do that because I want to connect with people, but I'm also doing it in such an isolated form of it, which is so ironic that I'm, kind of doing that right now, going through a phase of that right now where I'm hermit mode doing very similar aspects, but I'm creating while I'm in hermit mode. And it's something that's new. And to keep this video organized as I continue talking about it, since I've already kind of broke the barrier, as I would explain, or kind of put it into terms, because it's interesting explaining how in my past I was very skeptical, and now I'm full on board with a lot of things that I would have considered in the past as, too out there or like bullshit. Just plain and simple. I apologize if cursing's not your thing, but that's just a word that I would say growing up. Oh, astrology? Listening to the stars? Bullshit. Oh wait, now you believe you're a starseed? Well, that's completely different, right? And that's what I mean by broke the barrier. I'm describing it as I could be talking to someone, or I could be talking into the void, or I could be talking to, or when I say someone, it could be anyone, right? It could be someone who doesn't believe in starseeds, doesn't believe in this reality, and you can put your hate in the comments, whatever you want to do, however you want to react, or don't watch it, or just ignore me, whatever you intend to do. But I also know that this is for me, who as a starseed, I believe in it, and I don't care if this has a wide audience or not. I'm just creating something that puts more evidence, I guess, into my 3D reality, even though it's such a weird experience compared to what I might be used to in a past life. I mean, I'm just doing so much digitally that is very multidimensional. And when it's multidimensional like this, it's very hard to explain when I'm still very much living through a 3D aspect. I'm trying to explain certain aspects of time and other aspects that I don't fully grasp on the 3D aspect, but I know that I'm in tuned with my higher self, so I can tap into said energy. I just can't do it as consistently as maybe I might want or expect, because I've already done it in a past life, but I've forgotten that, so I have to relearn. And it's a lot easier since we're in a reality where we have a lot more technology that helps reflect, ourselves. So it's like you can learn at an exponential rate now, and you can clear karma at an exponential rate now. That's just how it currently is. And it's beautiful to live in that, because I'm currently going through an aspect of healing a lot of past lives, not just one. And a lot of it is just around, I have written in my notes here, healed a wound. It's a witch's wound that I have healed, and I know that I've healed it because I'm starting to make YouTube videos and put it out there and create something. I am, as I would kind of relate it to what I would have probably experienced in a past life, is being on a mirror and, communicating to someone through the mirror dimension. And if that's a reality that you can entertain, because I entertain that, because I'm a believer that we are creators and we are magicians. So I'm creating the idea or the aspect or the reality that I could have lived in a time where I did that, and therefore if that I've lived that in the past, then I can currently do that right now. And I'm not talking to just a handheld mirror. I'm talking to a device that can be a mirror, that can talk to someone across the world, audibly, or you can even FaceTime now. There's such drastic leaps in communication that we have reached that is so beyond me. And it's so funny to kind of explain on what I would have experienced in the past as a witch's wound, where I probably would have been burned at the stake. If someone caught me, just talking into my mirror, my handheld mirror, this, schizo witch or warlock, I don't know. I don't really identify with, being a female or masculine in the past. I, kind of, it's hard to describe it. It's not like I've transcended gender in an aspect, how I currently believe it right now in 2025 August 17th, as Chase the human being is. I am Chase, a male human being with the male sex organs that I was given at birth, so I identify as male. But I also understand the aspect of those two aspects of energy coexisting, both like a feminine and masculine, and as someone who is a male but also is very feminine in nature. I mean, I'm wearing a pink shirt. I feel like that kind of highlights that. I was called to wear this shirt specifically, and I now know I kind of had an idea that I was probably going to talk about my femininity because it just kind of is brought up. But then it's like the masculine in the back of my head is being like, you're putting on the pink shirt because you're going to be gay in this video. And it's just like, it's so funny how that works, because I hope that doesn't offend anyone watching this video. I don't mean it in any offense. I just find it funny because, like, you can view that as toxic masculine. I just think of it as it's just a funny way to be masculine when I'm expressing my feminine. That just kind of further proves my point that I don't believe in, like, I'm just a masculine male, because I believe in past lives. So I was probably a female in past life. I was probably a male. So to just kind of touch base on my whole witch's wound without getting too far out there, let's keep it a little organized. Witch's wound, where I've experienced probably past lives where I've been burned at the stake, which I'm getting at. I could have been a witch, I could have been a warlock, however you want to explain it. I definitely get more feminine energy from that, but I'm explaining that now in my current reality. I said the date earlier, but I might as well say it again. In 2025, August 17th, as a male human being, talking about probably a female past life as a witch, talking into a mirror that I was basically doing in the past in just a different form. I now am not getting burned at the stake, and hallelujah for that. And maybe after this video, maybe give a few days, maybe that will happen, maybe I will get burned at the stake, but hey, maybe, a few days is better than, getting burned at the stake right away, right? I just have so much gratitude that I live in a reality where I'm probably not going to be. And maybe I might be silenced in a way. I mean, I probably am already on like a YouTube shadow ban list already because I talked about reptilians in my first YouTube video. Like, a little bold of me if I want to try to make any money whatsoever on this site, right? But I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for, I guess, the fame. I'm in it for healing karmic wounds, like a witch's wound of not wanting to be seen and hiding my extraordinary aspects of me. It's so funny because this 3D reality is really so fucking tough for me. At the end of the day, it is so damn tough for me. And I can either resonate with that or I could be like, this is a damn breeze because I've done this circus one or two times, right? And I call it a circus because, like, it's just a performance at the end of the day. And I love it. Life is but a dream. I wrote somewhere in my notes, but I just kind of want to focus on the aspect of life is but a dream. It's just we're just in a play. We're in a divine comedy, Dante's Inferno. We're just, living a divine comedic experience where we're worried and stressed about getting to the finish line. And then we realize that it was all about, stopping and smelling the roses because you're not really in a competition. It's not a race. You're trying to, live so you can immediately die again? I don't know, like, I never really resonated with the live fast, die young. I'm going to be honest, I've had experiences where I've been, suicidal, and that's where I kind of, highlight, this reality can be damn tough for me sometimes, but that's also because I have such a polarity to me. Because I have so much light and then also so much dark because I have so much light. If I have a big reflection, then I'm going to have a big shadow. And a lot of what that darkness is just a creation. It's just a fear that I create. I'm creating this witch's wound because I'm nervous that I might be burned at the stake, but who gives a damn? Did it in the past, I'm going to do it again. That's how it is, because that's my soul. Energy can't be created nor destroyed. You can take my physical vessel from me, but guess what? Showed up again. Back at it again. Look at him in his, what does this say? Alabama pink shirt. Probably wearing some kind of witch's uniform at least once in the past. Now he's in this. Maybe this is my uniform. I don't know. I don't fucking care about what I wear. I just care about sharing this aspect of me, this soul aspect of me, where I can go what some people on planet Earth right now would identify as completely schizo on a phone and put it on YouTube for everyone to, have confirmation of my mental state they might believe. But it's like, what? Who gives a damn? Who cares what you think? I care what I think. You might view it as that. I might view it as like this is the most sane part of me because I'm just reflecting what I truly am, what I believe to be. And if we're creators of our reality, then I'm creating this. And it's so funny how this process works because I've tried to make this video multiple times today. And it's so interesting how I'm still in such a flow state still. It's still very fragmented, don't get me wrong, because I'm new to this. I'm new to, creating YouTube videos and putting it online and having people see it because I don't really I do it in the astral. I don't really do social media in 3D. And I'm not trying to say that I'm more talented than anyone or anything in terms of physical ability, or not physical, psychic abilities. I would argue I'm very not talented in most physical activities. But when it comes to the spiritual aspect of me, I definitely am doing things that I've been doing for a long time without my understanding of it. Chase, the 26-year-old human being on planet Earth in this current time, doesn't fully grasp his multidimensional self, but he's starting to get like a little bit. And I want to share that with my infinite reflections of me across planet Earth or beyond. Whether I will still believe in that reality tomorrow or in 2 days or in a week or in a month, whatever it is. I just know that currently I'm in tune with an aspect of timelessness because I'm creating something timeless right now. Which is beautiful. I just kind of want to take a second to take a breath, take a drink of water, and tune back in and kind of continue this video because there's more to say, but I don't really want to overdo it in a sense of like viewership. So this is like kind of a breaking point. It's kind of like an intermission that I'm putting in that like if you want to, 20 minutes is your fill, great. If you are still here, I'm honestly surprised. I'm surprised I even get what I got in this current day and time, 1,000 views on one of my shorts. And that was in a pretty fast time. I was so surprised. I was overwhelmed with joy, and then immediately, boom, like 1,000. You're happy about 1,000, dude. You go on YouTube and some of the most popular videos have at least a few million in your feed or whatever, and you're happy about 1,000. I'm surprised I even got a few. I'm going full on out there in such a weird aspect of myself that I'm still trying to fully understand too. Because I live in such a polarized reality that I'm now creating and transmuting into something that's not so polarizing. I'm making the shift from 3D to 5D. And I don't know what that entails, and a lot of my reflections in my current reality is reflecting that there's going to be some big change coming up. Whether you believe that to be, Jesus coming back to life or, the rapture. I think that's what the end of times is. People, every ending has a beginning. I believe there's going to be probably a great big ending happening. But I'm in the mindset of I'm already creating my new reality, so I've probably already made the shift, or it's going to happen, but I'm not going to remember it because I went back in time and erased it. I don't know, I'm learning a lot. So fragmented. I was trying to make this video and then I pulled up YouTube instead, and the first video went to a podcast talking about how we live in a simulation, how everything's coded, and it's so like on brand with like my experience lately. How I'm trying to engage in the matrix by creating my own video and putting it out there. But I then perpetuate this instead of being a creator, just a consumer that I've been kind of stuck in. That's highlighting my multi-dimensional aspect of today of like, I'm channeling my past self and my current self and my future self all at the same time right now. And it's so hard to put that in a 3D density and put that on a form of media. It's hilarious. And it's hilarious how during that time I was nervous about the fan going off, which you can reflect that as I'm nervous about even having one fan because I have this past wound of not wanting to be seen. I'm nervous about my neighbor, either I think both upstairs and close to me, came home, and I normally don't even tune into them getting home because I'm either locked in on my headset, on my computer, I'm just in my own zone, but I'm kind of nervous about being seen. And it's also another aspect of I want to be respectful. I mean, I live in a studio apartment. It's not like the walls are going to be super thick, sound's going to travel. If I'm being loud, I'm being loud. I'm just going to do it at a respectful time. And this isn't even that loud. I just also know that this is content that challenges people's beliefs deeply, because this is not being taught in current schools. I mean, I'm from America, and America's schools in this current aspect is not this multidimensional aspect of living. If anything, that's more of a program that's trying to indoctrinate you that it's not, but I digress. That's a whole different. Anyway, well, I was talking about an intermission, and then I just went off again. So I'm going to take that breath and take some water. And I invite you to do the same. So funny. My fan's going off. Oh, I should turn it off. Oh no. I might ruin the sound. Who cares? Just exist. I was thinking about, while I was taking that drink of water, about a content creator. I mentioned him in my first video. I linked his stuff. I'm not trying to... I both want to give credit to people, but it's like I'm talking about like my own thing, my own response to a video of his, I guess you would call it. If I'm now a YouTuber, maybe it makes me a reactor or whatever. I don't know how far in depth I'm going to go into this whole YouTube thing, but his name's Ryan, I think he changed his name, but on YouTube but changed it back anyway. His name's Ryan, and he kind of explained in the first video that I found of his to just exist. And I love that so much. It's a just way to ground and just be still and be present, which I find so profound from my experience, because I told you my name's Chase, have experienced a reality where I'm always in pursuit, it feels like. And I've had the blessing, the absolute gift of being able to just focus on trying to be still the past few months here. And that was all because I had to go through an experience of drastic change in such a short amount of time, to where, without getting too personal, because I'm honestly so moved past it by now, but also so stuck in it at the same time. And that's why I feel like I've healed this wound, because this is a part of it. But I went through an aspect where I committed to something in my reality in such a deep, profound way for the first time that I didn't think I'd ever commit to, which, I mean, it's a relationship, right? And then it ended up ending abruptly in a way that, I was both caught blindsided by, but also kind of knew at the same time from the get-go, in just a form of, I believe in both free will and then predestiny. And I believe in contracts, and I knew that I signed up for this relationship in a contract way where we were going to go through an experience like this. And it's so hard living through it, having that view on reality. Because it's like I could sit here and be so hurt about it, whether I was even the person I would view as the one who did the wrong or not. If I were to fully explain it, I feel like, I don't know. I'm not trying to play sides of good or bad. I'm trying to maintain a neutral aspect. And basically, to summarize it, I went through a breakup where I'm in a completely different environment than I expected to ever happen again. And it's so beautiful, this experience of being able to maintain stillness while I go through kind of like old patterns of doing old hobbies that I used to do a lot more frequently in my 3D aspect, where I'd kind of do in reflections of maybe games. Like, I mean, it's chess and soccer. So I'll play some online chess, and there's a new game, I guess, shout out Rematch. Good soccer game. Played that a little bit online, but then I joined the soccer league and played like 2 games as a sub that I don't think I'm making the cut, which is hilarious, as you know. And maybe I'm just in my head about it, but I'm just not as active as I used to be. And it's funny going through that as someone who looks like they're super young, going through I guess I can't just run throughout the game like I used to. I actually have to like realize my legs hurt a bit during the game now, not after. You know, it's like I'm experiencing an aspect of age as someone who looks like they found the fountain of youth at 16. Anyway, I digress. Funny little joke. Hey, and then maybe that's different because I haven't shaved for the past few days, so maybe I do look older in this. So maybe me joking about looking like 16 is like, that's not true. You have some facial hair, or whatever reflection you want to see this, you can interpret that. I interpret it in many different ways. I just know that in my reality around me, a lot of people would call me young, and I do resonate with that in a 3D aspect of I look young, and then I start talking about some things like I've explained in this, and then people just look at me like I am not a human being or some ancient non-human, elemental. And I resonate with that deeply. And it's because I know that I have, aspects of me beyond this body. And I don't fully understand that currently being in this body, and I can't fully interpret into this video all at once the fragments that I do understand. Like, to give you an example, I could go super in depth about, the previous past life I was talking about me being a witch. But I'm not supposed to fully remember that because I'm supposed to currently live, Chase's experience. I'm supposed to live this timeline. And this timeline is so unique because I have access to many different ways of viewing other timelines and experiences at the same time. That's the multi-dimensional nature of this current reality that is so beautiful. And I love how I'm reflecting that here. But yeah, well, my phone is at 5%, and I'm going to take that as a sign to stop blabbering because I'm in a very rambly state of consciousness right now. It's not as concise as I've been trying to make some of my content lately. I've just done a few poems, which I like a lot. I've never been really happy with the poems that I've made in the sense of, this is something I want to put out there. But I am so proud, and I also view it as complete gibberish too. I've gone through the loops of I posted it, and I was happy about the 1,000 likes I got on the video. Then I posted another poem, and it didn't get as many, or not likes, views. I don't even care, but 1,000 views is minuscule to what other people would view if you're an active YouTuber doing this for long. For me, I am bewildered because I've just recently started putting out videos just a few months ago. The fact that one video I've seen 1,000 eyes, whether it's a bot or not, I don't really know how much that's happening. I know that's like a Twitter thing or an X thing where you have bots, because I recently made a Twitter and I got followed by a bot. It's so hard not to describe it as that because it's literally just this one, picture of a girl in the description where she's just reposting Elon Musk tweets, just that. It's like, you can't tell me that the person who bought social media isn't making bots and then having it follow people. Like, that's the funniest thing, dude. Like, wouldn't you do the same? Bro, I would do the same. Oh yeah, this, very fun social media, thing. I'm just going to plug in my phone and do this little riff at the end. This social media thing that's super huge, that's world spread, that's called Twitter, that kind of just sounds better if you just say Twitter, just because that's what it was created as. Changed the name to X, which is hilarious to me. It's like, I don't know, it just is kind of uncomfortable to refer to. And I didn't even use Twitter when it was called Twitter. I think I did one thing where I did like a schizo private message to someone, and I call it that because it's like, it's so hard to grasp when I'm, just kind of, it was basically about sound waves being able to hear, because I saw a video about tuning forks and just this idea of like, oh, maybe you can create music that heals cancer in a sense of like it's radiating at that frequency, which in my current reality I believe that you can do. I can't tell you how to do it right now, but I believe that it's possible, because I know that in ancient times they used sound for a lot of things that we can't fully comprehend right now. Our reality is frequencies, and I'm having a fucking tough time understanding just that. Started to curse again. And it's funny because my friend, who is both such like a grounded I want to call him skeptical, but I'm having a tough time saying that word because it doesn't really resonate with who he is. He's someone who questions a lot of everything, but he also is the person who really got me into aliens, because he's showing me more documentation from like CIA documents and government like official documents, which is like, if you're a skeptic, don't believe that at first, and then you just see like some more damning evidence for your reality. Like, if I'm saying like at my current, or like in my past, I should say, not current self, where I had probably a little bit more respect for government integrity, CIA documents is, okay, so this is serious. So that's how it came into my reality, and now it's like, well, CIA, yes, has a lot of truth to it, but then it's also a program designed for deception, so it's like, how much can really... Anyway, I mean, I shouldn't say that it's designed, but you understand what I mean. There's a lot of deception. I mean, it's literally spies, if you just think about CIA in just like a very general aspect. Anyway, I'm just so off the rails in this video. I'm talking about... Yeah, so I talked about Twitter and sending just like a very, out there message about something that I believe, but I'm just like sending it to like a music producer who has no idea who I am. So it's like, why would he like even entertain the idea? It's like, maybe he thought it was a cool idea, or he's just maybe, oh, this guy's fucking nuts. So anyway, and then talking about Elon Musk again, so like, it's so funny how he's changing it from Twitter to X, and I was explaining how I never really used Twitter besides that one off experience. I use X, and then I get followed by like my first person, and it's just a bot that just reposts the person who owns the dams. That's like the funniest thing, because I told myself, I'm like, I don't know, like, I try not to get too involved with politics. I've been kind of following Elon a little bit, but not really a whole lot. And I told myself, oh, I'm going to use this platform, but probably not look at his tweets and whatnot, because I just feel like that's just like, regardless of what I think about him, that's just like such a funny aspect of, he's promoting free speech on a free speech platform, yes, but he's also like, there's got to be a human aspect of like, so like, he believes in free speech so much that he wants to create like a bot that is like a non-existent, pretending to be human, that just reposts the same thing. It's just so funny to me. I don't know. I don't think most people watching this video will find that as funny as I do, or even find it funny at all. I don't know, maybe. And if you do find it hilarious and you somehow made it 40 minutes past through, I even find it, I would be impressed if you got this far, because this is some of the most unhinged content that I've made so far, and it's funny. I don't feel like it's going to be the most unhinged content going forward. I'm probably just going to keep down this path of just being my full authentic self, which is just so hard to fully understand as someone who's not me. I would perceive. For me, obviously, it's just the most sane thing ever because of my reality. I can't ignore that there's things beyond me. I mean, just looking at the book salad, I just have one of my favorite books is just Angelology, where it's just whether you believe in angels or not, it's just a book of angels. And I just love it so much. It's probably one of my favorite books. One of my other favorite books, Psychic Witch. Speaking of talking about a past life of me being a witch, Psychic Witch, one of my favorite. And it's funny because I don't even do most of the full practices as it's described in this book. I just learned a lot from it. I don't even think I could fully describe it A through Z because I did not read this book in a linear fashion. I resonated with some of it. I'm like, I already know that, even though I'm not really practicing it. You know, the elements, duh, fire cleanse. But it's like also, you're saying duh about something that you didn't fully believe growing up. So why are you saying duh now? Well, it's obvious to me now, but it's also so not obvious to a lot of people probably watching this video right now. Shout out Matt Arun. I know that I'm probably messing up that last name, but I know if you care that I messed it up, I apologize deeply, and that's all that really matters. I really love your work, and if I fuck up your last name, sorry, fuck up your last name. Anyway, Forward by Devin Hunter. I know that it's probably more of a translation type thing, but I don't fully even understand that. It's one of my favorite books, and I still don't fully grasp it, funny enough, because I don't really fucking read. I'm literally telling you about this Angelology book. It's basically a picture book. Let's be for fucking real. I found a lot of meaning in it. Don't get me wrong. I went to my birthday angel guardian, Levia, who claims victory, by the way. Pretty badass. No need to brag. But anyway, I also just look at the beautifully illustrated angels. And it's both an understanding of, like, I already know, so I don't have to relearn all my brothers and sisters in heaven's name, but it's also a funny aspect of, like, how I'm still both removed and not removed. I'm living in a reality of illusion of separation. So they're there, but they're not there. Because, like, I'm separated, but, like, am I really? They're always there. They're guiding me. That's the whole point of guides. They're there guiding the path along the way, but I also live in a reality where it's law of intervention. They can't just intervene unless I call upon them, but I also live in a reality where people don't believe in angels, so they can't fully exist in my reality that if I'm living in a reality with other people, because we're co-creating. But if there's more people who believe in it than not, then boom, it's probably real. And it's whenever I'm talking about the concept of co-creation and just thoughts into reality, creating, manifesting, I love the example of Santa Claus, which some people would call Satan. Pretty close in names, right? And I'm not going to entertain that idea just for the sake of this is already going on long enough. But this idea of Santa Claus and the aspect that I want to focus on is how we, and when I say we, I'm not talking about everyone on planet Earth, but my experience growing up is I had Christmas growing up. I wasn't even really in that Christian of a household in a sense of, like, we went to church every Sunday, or we fully sit down to read the Bible and interpret it like that, but we identify with certain Christian values. I mean, my stepdad was Lutheran, and my mom was very anti-Catholic church growing up, but now she is full on Catholic now. Funny how that, funny how the world works, right? So I'm living in both a very, what I would describe as spiritual household with some Christian values. So I both had Christmas, but don't fully, it's supposed to be Jesus' birthday and we're supposed to celebrate that, but we're just fueling consumerism. And while we're doing that, we're teaching our kids that this pretend figure exists. So me growing up, I believe Santa Claus was real. So Santa was real in my reality. But there's no big fat guy in a red suit magically, disappearing into your house through the chimney. Actually. But there's probably some spiritual connotations to that. The aspect of lying to your kids to fuel a very consumerism based thing, that seems pretty dark to me. And I'm not going to say, Santa's Satan, but I'm going to respect the idea that they're pretty close in name, and there's an aspect of illusion attached to it. And my reality, my belief of the devil is illusion exists. There's a shadow of this mirror that we are. We're a mirror, we're a reflection of source, a reflection of God, where we're all creators ourselves, but since we're separate and we're co-creating, we aren't full on in our power. It's a balancing act. And that is my current experience right now, but even tomorrow that could change. I'm watching a bunch of videos on YouTube explaining how there's going to be an extreme change that you can't comprehend. And I love that so much. Because I'm going through some old patterns where I feel like I might still be stuck in my ways a little bit in certain aspects. And then I reflect on it and it's like, no. I'm just doing the things that I used to love in a new environment on my own. And I might be, screwing myself financially by sitting here creating a YouTube video instead of going out and getting a job like I always do and just doing that old, circus act. I just am having faith that things will work out, and, with how blessed I've been in my life, I would be surprised if it doesn't end up working out. And I'm creating that. And it's a form of creation that, yes, it's co-creating with other people, but I have more of an understanding of this reality. So I'm definitely going to manifest something. Whether it's exactly what I want it to be, I don't care. I just know it's something. And it's better than me sitting and being afraid with this wound that I've had in the past. This witch's wound that's prevented me from wanting to be seen, or being seen, or resonating with being known. And it was out of a state of fear. And I'm no longer ruled by fear. I am no longer in a fear-based mindset where I emotionally react to things in my reality I deem as unknown, and then I put myself in a state of unknowing and then acting based on that, where I'm having the fear guide me, and that could be an illusion. And that's where the whole devil aspect ties in for me. And if I'm going to be manifesting something now, instead of being afraid, and I'm manifesting what I would deem as God's plan or Source's plan, it doesn't even matter what I'm doing, but it also matters entirely what I'm doing. I live in an idea of free will mixed with predeterminism, or predestiny, pretty similar. And how I understand that concept is by relating it to Daniel Inca. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong again. I'm just bad with names because I probably communicate in a different realm where I know your name as something else, and that's my understanding of it now. But he is this person who, if I'm not mistaken, was like a director, and then he started channeling Bashar, and I've watched some of his content, and I like when I'm hearing what Daniel has to say. As much as I love Bashar, I'm trying to achieve a understanding of I'm communicating with him on my own and not through a channel, through someone. And I kind of have to rely on that, yes, now in my 3D understanding, but I also know that my higher self has probably talked to Bashar, probably more than once. And I can't wait to reunite and reconnect and be able to say, hello, friend, while also actually remembering my friend. Anyway, I digress. That's between me and Bashar when we get there, but to highlight what I wanted to say about Daniel and his experience as a channeler is, I gotta remember this. See, now I'm just focused on trying to reconnect with Bashar, and now alright, let me hone in. I'm almost at the end of the video. This is still going on, and I want to keep talking, but it's a lot to do this. So Daniel, and how he channels is, he's explaining about a hallway. That's what it is, the hallway analogy that I've been using when it comes to free will and predeterminism or pre-destiny. It's about walking down a hallway, and we can choose whether or not the hallway is, painted a certain way. It has a rug or it doesn't. It's a red carpet. It has many doors. It has no doors. It has many doors. That you check every one. You don't at all, and it still has basically the idea is that you have to walk down this hallway, but you get to create the hallway that you're walking down. And that's to reflect the whole mindset of we're a creator of our reality because we have the power of perception. And that's where, me bringing up the whole Santa Satan analogy of illusion is that we're using lies to perpetuate this form of, consumerism as I view it. We're literally lying to our kids about a being that exists that makes toys and drops it off to you, but it's in reality just your parents who are just giving you stuff, and it's to fuel this whole, I'm marketing, something to a kid so they scream and cry until, you get the gift for them. So let's create a reality where, it's not you getting the gift, it's this, fantasy person. It's just a lie that creates so much pain surrounded this aspect of it being a holiday. And we're supposed to be celebrating Jesus' birthday, but we're doing that. Like, you can't tell me that's like the most, that just is, it symbolizes so much illusion, at least from my reality. And that's what I'm going to end this video on. I'm going to summarize this up about this video about me healing a past wound of being seen, putting it on YouTube, super meta, right? And then talking about Santa Claus resembling Satan in a sense at the end, because I have to be my full authentic self and, have to put this out there. So, alright, I love you very much, and I wish you the best.